The Men in Black are a familiar story when one is looking at ufology. These eerie-looking men and women are said to be dressed in dark, nondescript suits and are often reported during or after UFO and paranormal events. The appearance of these alleged government agents has long been discussed, and today they are very much a pop culture phenomena as much as they are an unsolved mystery. There is, however, another group of mysterious characters also dressed in similar clothing. They are the opposite of the MIBs, dressing in only white. Let's take a look at MIWs, the Men in White, and see what we can uncover. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery, and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. The Men in White are very much like their darker counterparts. They appear at strange times and at strange events. Witnesses give descriptions of beings that look almost human, but something is not quite right about their appearance. It's a little off. Dressed head to toe in white clothing that seems to always remain pristine, an amazing feat in itself, as anyone who has worn white will tell. They often project a sense of unease onto those that see them, with some witnesses saying that they are sinister in their behavior and mannerisms. One witness of the MIWs told of how, as a child, he was dropped off at his school gates. As he exited his mother's car, he spotted a strange, ominous-looking figure standing across the street. This figure was wearing a white suit with a white fedora hat. First, it was turned away from the road. As the boy stared, the MIW slowly turned. This is when the lad got a clear look at the face, and it was very odd. The boy likened the appearance to a porcelain doll. It was extremely pale, the exception being the dark pupils at the center of white, staring eyes. The schoolboy was entranced and locked in eye-to-eye contact, this contact being broken when the MIW tipped his hat and said, "You." The boy saw that the man had sharp fang-like teeth before quickly disappearing without the boy noticing him leave. The boy was understandably confused, as, looking to his mother for some confirmation, he realized that she had not seemed to have seen or even acknowledged the presence of the man in white. The boy considered that he might be losing his mind. This was until he saw the man again, but this time along with a friend. Telling the story of what he had seen, the boy said, "I ignored the man in the white suit, but I soon learned that I shouldn't have ever ignored him. One night around 3 in the morning, I had gotten up to use the restroom and was going back to bed when my closet door opened and the man in the white suit came out with a scruffier looking man. They pulled me from my bed and began to do something to me. I fell into a sort of limbo state where I couldn't speak or see, but I could hear and feel. The scruffy man said that he wasn't sure if I would survive this. My chest felt like it was on fire, and I felt someone reaching around inside me. Then it stopped, and they both disappeared. When I finally came to, I was lying on the floor across my room, and my chest was bright red, and I had scratches on my chest and shoulders. My closet door was also open, and I never leave it open because an open closet at night terrifies me. The same thing happened a few weeks later to my friend who saw the men in white suits. To this day, I am not sure what they did. I do know that I am a lot more in touch with my supernatural than I was before. I wish I could remember his name, and I wish I knew what they did. So it would seem that these white-clad figures have ill intent toward those that they appear before. They may also have some involvement in larger horrific events. Men in white were spotted at the scene of a horrible air disaster which claimed many lives back in 1992. People still, today, talk about the mysterious men dressed all in white spotted at the crash of one of Europe's most terrible air disasters. This when an El Al aircraft smashed into a group of apartment blocks in a Dutch suburb. the investigation into what happened on that dreadful day continues, and it would seem to suggest that the airplane was carrying some odd cargo. It has been said that on board the plane was either uranium or sarin. Sarin being the nerve gas component made infamous by the terrorist attacks in which it was used to kill people on a Tokyo subway. Another odd occurrence tied to the aircraft crash is that the Amsterdam residents in the location of the area the plane went down have been complaining of illnesses ever since. If the plane had been carrying such dangerous materials, this is more than plausible. This brings us to the reports made by local people who describe the presence immediately after the crash of a number of men in white. What they saw was a group of men wearing some sort of protective clothing. Some witnesses say these men in white were moving about helping victims, aiding the dying, helping with the rescue efforts, while others link their presence with the fact that the plane was carrying some toxic substances. Were they just assisting, or could they have been up to something more nefarious? Others have had more intimate dealings with these mystery men. A Reddit post tells the story Reincarnation, in which the writer makes claim to have had a number of encounters with the men in white. He believes that the MIW are not evil and could actually be angels, guardian angels, sent to protect people. He writes, "I was attending a festival, and due to the festival's popularity, their parking lot was filled and people had started parking along the side of the road outside of the farm. I had to park at the bottom of a long hill on a patch of dirt next to a ditch so that my car couldn't block the road. By the time we were done, there were no longer any new cars parking. Several of the cars around me were gone, and no one was near the bottom of the hill where I was parked. When I tried to get out of my spot, my tires just kept flinging up loose rocks, and I couldn't get any traction. I kept trying to leave, but my car wouldn't move. I was about to get out, thinking maybe I should trek back up to the farm to ask for help, when a huge white SUV pulled up beside me. Now, mind you, I don't know where this guy came from because I kept checking my mirror, and I was trying to get out of my spot and had a clear view up the hill for any potential cars coming, and would have seen a large white car coming a long way off. Out of the car came this big guy with a white shirt, white baseball cap and white shorts, and he calls out, 'Do you need some help?' and proceeds to go to the back of my car and gives it a huge push, and we basically sailed out of our rut and onto the road. I called out, 'Thank you,' and waved, and he waved back, and I kept driving on, and he followed me, but when I turned at a bend, I lost sight of him." This brings us to the question whether these entities are malevolent or benevolent. They seem to show up at both good and bad events, and sometimes carry out acts that could be seen as harmful and bad, while other times protect and do good. It seems that these events follow a set pattern. Often, the MIW appear silently. They stand and they watch. Often, they disappear into thin air and always leave little to no evidence of their presence. Are the men in white hallucinations, paranormal beings, or maybe extraterrestrials? It seems the only way we can really classify them is by the events at which they appear and what their actions are when they do show themselves. Could they be angelic beings? After all, white clothes would match with the stories told of angels. The clothing may have changed to something more modern over time, biblical appearances having them in robes and clothing suited to that period of history, and the iconic image of popular culture. Today, the clothing being suits, fedoras, and smart shoes, a modern update to an ancient entity. Do they have any connection to their black-suited brethren? For the moment, it would seem there is no way to know, and these impeccably dressed men in white will likely remain spectres beyond our understanding. What do you think the men in white are? Have you had any dealings with the strange beings? And had you heard of them before? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. If you want to catch the latest, search We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.